Her little game. I wish I could say I saw it coming. I wish I could say there were red flags, warning signs, late-night gut feelings that whispered she's not who she says she is. But there weren't. There was just her. Sophie. And the way she made me feel like I mattered. I met Sophie at a New Year's party thrown by mutual friends. She was wearing this ridiculous glittery dress, drinking out of a plastic champagne flute, and yelling at some guy about how pineapple absolutely belongs on pizza. I remember standing there, watching her argue so passionately about something so stupid, thinking, God, I hope she yells at me like that someday. She did, just not in the way I expected. We started dating in January. By March, I was in love. By July, I was talking about rings with my best friend. She moved in that September, brought 3 boxes, a guitar she never played, and a cat she kind of hated but couldn't give away. Her words, not mine. Our apartment was small, 1 bedroom, bad heating, ugly carpets. But with her in it, it felt like home. She filled every room with color, noise, warmth. I used to joke that even her mess had personality. She'd throw a sock at me and call me a simp. I'd catch it and grin like an idiot. God, I was so proud to have her. Like, embarrassingly proud. She was beautiful in that chaotic, unfiltered way. The kind of beauty that didn't ask for attention, it dragged your gaze and dared you to look away. Everyone loved her. My friends. My mom. Even my boss, who once said, she's a firecracker. Like that was a compliment. I didn't mind. I liked being the guy with the cool girlfriend. The wild one. The unpredictable one. The one who danced in the rain and flirted with waiters and made fun of my Spotify Wrapped. I thought we were building something. I thought I was safe. The unraveling didn't start with a fight. It started with a weekend trip she forgot to tell me about. Sophie, casually, one Friday morning. Oh, by the way, I'm going to Jenna's lake house this weekend. Girls only thing. Last minute. Me. Wait, what? Since when? Sophie, already brushing her teeth. Since yesterday. Don't be clingy, babe. It's just 2 nights. Clingy. She called me clingy because I asked where she'd be all weekend. That night, she packed quickly. 1 duffel. No fuss. She wore my hoodie when she left. She always did that when she wanted me to miss her. She kissed me on the cheek, not the lips. Her goodbye felt distracted. Saturday, 11:45 p.m. I was scrolling Instagram. Wasn't even looking for anything. Just killing time. That's when I saw it. A photo. Posted by some guy I didn't know. Tag. Sophie_Storm. Caption. She really said, no regrets. Wildest night in a while, faced with years of joy fire. My stomach dropped. The photo wasn't graphic. Not exactly. Just her sitting in his lap. Arms around his neck. His hand on her thigh. She was laughing. Laughing like she hadn't in weeks. Laughing in a dress I'd never seen before. I clicked on his profile. Public. Idiot. Dozens of photos. Comments from her. Flirty. Familiar. My hands were shaking. I stared at those photos for a long time. Longer than I should have. Trying to tell myself it was innocent. Maybe a joke. Maybe an old friend. But the timestamp said now. The comments said more. And the way her body leaned into him? That said everything. I tried calling her. Straight to voicemail. I texted. Me. Call me. Now. No response. I didn't sleep. Just lay there on our bed, wrapped in her smell, scrolling through that guy's page over and over until the sun came up and my eyes burned. By morning, I had all the proof I needed. She came back Sunday evening. Sophie, walking in, casual. Hey, babe. Miss me? Her makeup was still faintly smeared. She smelled like a bonfire and cologne that wasn't mine. I didn't say anything at first. Just held up my phone. Me. What the F*** is this? She blinked, looked at the screen, laughed. Sophie. Wow, that? You're freaking out over that? It was a party. Me. You're in his lap, Sophie. Sophie, rolling her eyes. It was a dare. Jesus. You're so dramatic. Me. There are, like, 10 photos. And comments. And he called it the wildest night. She looked annoyed. Not guilty. Not sad. Not scared. Just annoyed. Sophie. God, I knew this would happen. You get so insecure every time I talk to a guy. You don't own me, you know? Me quietly. Did you sleep with him? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she walked past me, tossed her bag on the bed, and sighed like I was the one ruining her day. Sophie, coldly. I don't have to answer that. Something in me cracked. Not snapped. Cracked. Like a hairline fracture that had been there for months, waiting for pressure. I packed a bag. Didn't even know where I was going. Just knew I couldn't breathe in that apartment anymore. She didn't try to stop me. Didn't cry. Didn't chase. As I walked out the door, she called after me. Sophie. Maybe if you weren't so boring, I wouldn't need to have fun somewhere else. That sentence. That F*** ing sentence. It followed me into the elevator. Into my car. Into the next 6 months of my life. I stayed at a friend's. Then with my brother. Eventually got my own place. Smaller. Colder. Quieter. Sophie didn't contact me again. Not once. No apology. No closure. Nothing. It was like I'd been deleted. But I couldn't stop looking. Every week, I'd check that guy's Instagram. More photos. More nights. More of her. She looked happy. Genuinely happy. While I couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. Couldn't think without replaying her voice in my head saying you're so boring. It messed me up. More than I thought it would. More than I ever admitted to anyone. See, it wasn't just the cheating. It was the way she rewrote the story. Mutual friends started pulling away. I heard things. Whispers. She said he was controlling. She said he was too intense, too jealous. She never seemed happy, honestly. I became the villain in a story I didn't write. A stranger in my own memories. Every time I tried to speak up to explain, it made me look worse. Desperate. Pathetic. Clingy. Exactly what she'd painted me as. That was her game. Burn the bridge, then blame me for the fire. 3 months after the breakup, I ran into her at a party. I didn't know she'd be there. I wouldn't have come if I did. She walked in wearing that same smirk she always had, like she knew something the rest of us didn't. Her hand was in his. The guy from the photos. She saw me, paused, then smiled like we were old friends and nothing had happened. Sophie, teasing. Wow, you look better. Finally shaved, huh? My jaw clenched. I turned away, but she wasn't done. She walked up to me, pulled me aside, lowered her voice just enough. Sophie, softly. You're still angry, huh? I can feel it. But you should really let that go. It's not healthy. I stared at her. Me. You broke me. You lied, gaslit, cheated, then made me look like a psycho. Sophie, shrugging. Perspective is everything. Me. You destroyed me and didn't even look back. She smiled. Sophie. Some people are just practice. You were a good one, though. You taught me what I don't want. I left that party shaking. Not with sadness. With rage. Because it wasn't just betrayal. It was mockery. It was her acting like I should be grateful for the heartbreak. Like she did me a favor. I wanted to scream. To burn her world down like she did mine. But I didn't. I let her have the narrative. Let her keep playing the victim in her little story. But I made one silent vow. She would never get the real me again. Not my love. Not my loyalty. Not my silence. I started rebuilding. Bit by bit. Not because I was ready, but because I was tired of drowning. I cut ties with the mutuals who believed her version. I deleted every picture. Blocked her socials. Even got rid of the hoodie she left behind. The one I once used to sleep with, like some pathetic souvenir. I went back to therapy. Started writing again. Stopped checking her Instagram. It wasn't easy. Grief never is. Especially when the person you're mourning is still alive, still laughing, still posting selfies with the man she replaced you with like you were never even real. But I kept going. And slowly, the anger turned into something else. Not peace. Not forgiveness. But clarity. She didn't love me. Not really. She loved the attention. The safety. The way I made her feel important without ever demanding she do the same. I was her emotional crutch. Her fallback plan. Her audience. And when I stopped applauding, she found another stage. It's funny, when you're in love, you miss the little lies. The way she'd hide her phone screen. How she never introduced you to certain friends. The weekends she'd need space right when you planned something important. You call it independence. You tell yourself she's just free-spirited. But no, she was just cheating with flair. She didn't break my heart. She played with it. Like a toy she outgrew, then tossed in the corner with a smirk. 6 months after that party, I saw her again. This time by accident. Coffee shop. Early morning. She looked tired. Older. Less shiny. Alone. I was about to turn around when she saw me. Sophie, surprised. Oh well, you still live around here? Me, flatly. Yeah. Sophie, smiling faintly. You look different. In a good way. I didn't respond. Sophie, tilting her head. Are we not even gonna pretend to be civil? Me. There's nothing to pretend. She looked away. For the first time ever, she looked small. Sophie, quiet. I messed up, didn't I? I just looked at her. No rage. No sadness. Just silence. Me. You didn't mess up. You made choices. I walked out. That was the last time I saw her. She faded. Like a storm that came through, ripped everything apart, then vanished, leaving you to clean up what's left. And there was a lot to clean up. Because what she did wasn't just infidelity. It was erasure. She deleted the version of me that believed in people. The one who used to give without question, love without caution. She turned me into someone else. And yeah, maybe that's a good thing in the long run. Maybe heartbreak is a forge, and I came out harder, smarter, stronger. But damn if it didn't hurt like hell to go through. Sometimes I still hear her voice. At night. In my head. Laughing. Mocking. You're just so boring. I can't live my life walking on eggshells for your trust issues. Grow up. It's just flirting. That last one gets me. Because it wasn't just flirting. It was systematic emotional warfare. Undermining my reality until I questioned everything I saw, heard, felt. Now, when people ask what happened between us, I tell them the truth. She liked attention. I liked her. That was the problem. And that usually shuts them up. But inside, I know the full story. That she didn't just cheat. She crafted it. Orchestrated it. Made sure the knives went in clean and twisted slow. She was the kind of girl who didn't just break hearts. She documented the demolition. But here's the twist. I'm still standing. No thanks to her. No desire to go back. No part of me that wishes we could make it work. Because some people don't deserve closure. They don't deserve your pain packaged into a neat explanation. They deserve silence. They deserve to look back one day, years from now, and realize the best thing that ever happened to them walked away and never looked back. People think healing is a straight line. That one day, you just get over it. Like heartbreak is a bad cold. Drink water, rest, maybe cry a little, and poof, you're better. But real pain doesn't work like that. It sneaks up on you. At 2 a.m., in a grocery store aisle, when you smell her perfume on a stranger, you're not crying because you miss her. You're crying because you remember what it felt like to be wanted before you found out it was fake. I didn't date anyone seriously for a long time after Sophie. Not because I didn't have options, but because every time a girl smiled at me too sweetly, I questioned her motives. Was she real? Was she going to say all the right things, then use them against me later? I became cautious. Too cautious. And I hated that she did that to me. One night, maybe a year later, I was out with friends. A quiet bar. Nothing crazy. We were laughing. I was actually feeling okay. Then I saw her. Not Sophie. Her boyfriend. The guy she left me for. He walked in with some girl who definitely wasn't her. They didn't look like they were hiding either. Holding hands. Kissing between shots. At first, I didn't react. It wasn't my problem. Not my circus, not my clown. But the more I watched, the more my stomach turned. Not because I still cared about Sophie, but because he was her karma. And she had no idea. I didn't plan to say anything. I really didn't. But around midnight, he saw me. He walked over, cocky, drunk, that smug grin I recognized from her Instagram stories. Him grinning. Well, the ex. You good, man? I stared at him. Me. Yeah, better than ever. Him laughing. That's what they all say. He slapped my shoulder like we were buddies. Then leaned in. Him whispering. Crazy how much she still talks about you. You really left a mark. I pulled away. Me. You still with her? Him shrugging. Sometimes. Me. She knows you're here with this girl? He smirked. Him. She's not exactly loyal either, bro. And that was it. That was the confirmation I didn't know I wanted. I didn't tell her. I didn't send screenshots. Didn't tiptoe back into her life with a just so you know. Because she deserved it. She deserved him. The same way I had deserved better. Let her find out the way I did, slowly, painfully, with every suspicious glance at his phone. Every "I'm working late" text. Every lie dressed in charm. I walked out of that bar without looking back. A few weeks later, I got a text. Sophie. Did you know? I stared at it for a full minute. Then, me. About what? Sophie. About him. The other girl. Everything. Me. Yeah, I knew. There was a long pause. Sophie, why didn't you tell me? I thought for a moment, then typed. Me. Because I'm not you. Read. Seen. No reply. I didn't feel triumphant. There was no fist pump. No sense of winning. Just silence. And maybe that's what closure really is. Not some heart-to-heart where the person who wrecked you suddenly becomes sorry, but the quiet confidence of knowing you survived. She posted something a week later. Black and white selfie. Tears. Captioned. Some people never really love you. They just love breaking you. The irony almost made me laugh, but I didn't double tap. Didn't screenshot. Didn't send it to friends with a sarcastic, look who's finally self-aware. I just scrolled past. Because I was done. They say the ones who burn you the worst are the ones you once handed the matches to. And yeah, I gave Sophie everything. My heart. My trust. My time. But what she did with it, that was on her. I'm not bitter. I'm just aware. And maybe that's the scariest thing for people like her. To know the person they tried to destroy didn't just move on. He grew up. Sometimes I wonder if she still thinks about it. About me. Not in the romantic way. Not with longing. But in that cold sweat, middle of the night way. When your brain finally forces you to see the truth you kept burying. Does she remember how she used to lie to me with her head on my chest? How she texted him from the bathroom while I made her breakfast? How I once drove through a storm at 3 a.m. because she said she felt sad? And how, later that same day, she flirted with a co-worker right in front of me? Sophie, back then, laughing. You're so possessive. You don't trust me. No, Sophie. I trusted you too much. That was the real problem. You told me a story and I believed it. I didn't look for cracks. I ignored the red flags. Hell, I painted them white. Because I wanted it to be real. There's a version of me that still existed back then. Kind. Hopeful. Naive. He died quietly. The night I saw the texts. The ones she swore didn't exist. The ones she gaslit me over for months. I'll never forget that night. I was lying in bed. She was asleep. Her phone buzzed once, then again. Usually I never touched it. But something, call it instinct, call it fate, told me to look. What I saw made my heart slow down. Because it wasn't just cheating. It was planned. It was coordinated. She had been seeing him for months. And she called me paranoid. Text from him. You leaving his dumbass yet? Text from her. Soon. He's been clingy lately. Kinda pathetic. I stared at the screen, waiting for the pain. But it didn't hit me right away. First came the numbness. The slow, suffocating disbelief. Then the shaking. Then the heat behind my eyes. Then the realization. This wasn't a mistake. This was cruelty. I remember just sitting there, holding her phone, watching her sleep. Like, how do you wake someone up to ask why they've been destroying you? Do you shake them? Do you scream? Do you cry? I did none of that. I just sat, staring at the girl I thought I knew, realizing she had built a second life right beside mine. When she finally woke up, she saw the phone in my hand. Sophie, groggy. What are you doing? Me. Reading what you really think of me. Her eyes went wide. She reached for the phone. I pulled it back. Sophie. You went through my phone? Me. You've been cheating for months, and that's what you're upset about? Sophie, angrily. You invaded my privacy. That's when I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was the most her response imaginable. She tried to flip it. Make me the bad guy. Sophie. You never trusted me. You always doubted everything I did. Me. Because I felt it. You just kept lying better than I could prove. She started crying. But not real tears, the kind that come with manipulation. Sophie sobbing. I didn't mean for it to happen. I was confused. You were distant. Me. No. I was present. Every single day. You were just elsewhere. That night, I packed a bag and left. She tried to stop me at the door. Sophie. Please. Can't we talk? Me. We just did. For days after, she blew up my phone. Long paragraphs. Voice notes. Photos of us. Apologies. Threats. More apologies. But I didn't reply. Because I knew exactly how this story ended. She didn't miss me. She missed control. And I wasn't going to give her that anymore. A few months later, I bumped into her by accident. Coffee shop. Sunday afternoon. She looked different. Tired. Like the lies finally caught up to her. I nodded politely. She walked over, cautious. Sophie. You look good. Me. Thanks. Sophie. I've been going to therapy. I didn't ask. Sophie, nervously. I just wanted to say, I know I messed up. Like, really messed up. Me. I know. Sophie. I didn't realize what I had until me interrupting. Until you lost it. She nodded slowly. There was a time when that would have made me feel better. Validated. Like maybe she finally got it. But I didn't feel that. I felt peace. Sophie. Do you think maybe, someday? Me. No. Not cruel. Just honest. Me. I don't hate you. I just don't need you anymore. And that was it. She stood there for a second, then walked away. No drama. No tears. No goodbye. Just two people who used to mean everything. Now nothing more than a memory. I got in my car. Drove off. Didn't look back. Because healing isn't about waiting for the person who broke you to say sorry. It's about becoming the kind of person they can't reach anymore. No matter how hard they try. And I had finally become that person. The end.